Let's give it to him family style. You're privileged to watch lumps. This is a real knee clapper right here. Big up Finger Smith and Hoodlums. Say I sue somebody. Let's say I sue Lummox, right?
Let's say I sue Lummox, right?
Yeah, my Final Fantasy streams never get a lot of viewers. We usually average around 150, 160 viewers on these. I mean, like, if you don't want to watch it, you don't got to be here. This is for people that want to watch it. Because this is what I'll be doing. What is my thought? Like, alright, I'm going to say this right here. It's going to get clipped out anyway. I talk about DSP when the chat asks me about DSP. And, like, here's my thoughts on, like, DSP's situation. I can't get down with people social engineering things, right? Mainly because it's highly illegal. Like, the fact is that somebody sat around for who knows how many hours. I'm gonna guess 50, 60, 70, maybe 100 hours. Trying to figure a man's social security number out of the millions of them that there are out there, right? This man narrowed a social security number out. Right, even though he had the last 4 numbers. That's dedication that shouldn't ever be put into effect. So Phil is actually the victim here. He's the victim of basically identity theft. He, whoever did that committed a federal crime. And the second crime that was committed against Phil was that fucking mortgage that he signed. Dude, I would go to bed with my stomach hurting every night of my fucking life if I had Phil's mortgage. It's like $1,900, which I'm rounding up here. And $444 goes to principal every month. He's going to be paying for that condo the rest of his fucking life. Why do I vote for Democrat? Because I care about people. The Republicans have been long, staunch stance on fuck everybody but businesses. That's why I don't vote Republican. You aren't really that good of a person, bro? Yeah, I'm a good person, man. You know what makes me look like a bad person? Watching 14 years of clips where every bad thing I said out of tens of thousands of hours is laced back to back together again to make a 4-minute video. That's what that is. The devil doesn't exist, dude. Devil is a construct to keep you in control. It's just like, like don't fall for that shit. There's no such thing as devils, demons, angels, the Loch Ness monster, Bigfoot. All that shit's made up. It's all fairy tales. You don't believe in Rapunzel. Well, I believe in a devil. I do care about my wife's health. That's why I'm willing to empty my bank account out to make sure she's better. Alright, let me say this. First off, sending a picture of another man's penis to somebody on Twitter is considered revenge porn and is a federal crime. Anybody that sends me that picture will just report you to Twitter every time. Second off, my wife is very shy about those things, and it's a very bad picture. Like, and I was not fully erect in said picture. Basically, I was talking to this girl who I will not name, and she was sharing videos of herself, and we had talked for weeks, and she wanted a dick pic, which you didn't see in the section that you've seen. And I gave in, and I gave one with a partial chub. Why you care about another man's dick doesn't mean anything to me. Everybody sent a dick pic at some point in their life. I know how big my dick is. And I've never had a complaint about it. Is my wife going to leave me? No. Well, first off, see, like, this is the troll stuff that they see. That comment I made was actually in 2014 on PKA. And somehow you transformed that into it being DoorDash. That's not true. And I was speaking about when I was young and Republican, when I delivered Domino's pizza, which was damn near 20 years ago. It's close to it. People can change. People's opinions on things can change. There was a period on PKA, if you go back, where I stated I was for Southern heritage in the Civil War. My opinion has completely changed on that. You know why? I educated myself. I actually took time. I went and read about the Civil War. I learned about the Civil War. I learned who the generals are and what their morals were. I learned about the politics behind the Civil War. If it's boring, you can leave. There's not a single person in this whole room keeping you in here. Because when I play Final Fantasy, I don't care how many people watch. I play Final Fantasy strictly because it's something I want to do, and there's some viewers of mine that enjoy it. Because I'm not going to jail for some fucking trolls. So I'm covering my ass. Thoughts on Syndicate being more successful than me? My thoughts on Syndicate being more successful to me is like Elon Musk being more successful than me, or Jeff Bezos, or any other person that is more successful than me. It's like having a fast car. There's always somebody out there that has a faster car than you. You should be happy with what you fucking have. Satisfaction is the death of desire. Always chasing the Joneses is the #1 way to be unhappy in life. How bothered was I the nude leak? Not really bothered at all. I'm gonna get people harass me about it, but who gives a fuck? I'm married. My wife is fully content with me. That's all that fucking matters. I've never had trouble getting ladies. I've never had trouble with it. I'm perfectly content with what I got. I know you wish a whole family died in an automobile wreck. Dude, that's COD talk. Nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Have you never been in a Call of Duty lobby, Eternal Angelo? I have excuses for everything. It's because the shit that you actually bring up to me is dumb as fuck. Hey Dan, you ever take responsibility for your actions? Like, also, can you walk to the US from Haiti? Please don't ignore this. I've already donated twice. I'm most certain you can. Haiti's actually in the Caribbean, isn't it? Yeah. So you can't walk from the US to Haiti. But what you can do is you can take a boat from Haiti to South America and walk through Central America and Mexico to get to the Texas southern border, which is, I'm almost 100% certain that's what they did. People that say that they've never been so bored in their life before are the same motherfuckers that are here every day of the week. How do you deal with the stress of streaming? I'm not really stressed out right now. Hey Dan, Biden did the opposite of the plan and did it late. I mean, Trump also killed 500,000 Americans with a terrible COVID-19 response, but we're not counting all those deaths on him. Right? Right? George Bush killed tens of thousands of American troops invading Iraq, a country we didn't need to invade for weapons of mass destruction that didn't exist. George Bush is legitimately a fucking war criminal by every standard of the definition. Why aren't we blaming him for all those deaths? But, you know, we'll talk about Benghazi. We'll talk about a bad pullout in Afghanistan. We'll talk about things with moving parts and unknown variables, right? And I'm not a Democrat. Don't let this speech get across to you. I'm an independent liberal. I'll vote Republican or Democrat. Because, like, in America, you get two choices. You don't eat poop or you don't eat vomit. That's usually the case. There's never a good candidate on either side. Hillary Clinton sucked ass. Fucking Mitt Romney sucked ass. John McCain, I feel, is like the only person that Republicans have ran that actually had an ounce of compassion in his body, right? Because he understands what it's like to be in a fucking Hanoi prison. He understands what it's like missing his homeland. He understands what it's like being oppressed. And I like that about John McCain, right? And your Lord and Savior Trump made fun of John McCain, who was a fighter pilot that spent years in prison in Vietnam, right? That right there by itself should have got Trump unelected. But for the most part, most of our politicians are fucking jokers. And they're in power because the vast majority of people don't even follow politics but feel like they need to vote. Again, this stream is not designed to gain viewers. This stream is designed for people who want to watch it. Democrats tend to lean more on the side of universal health care, and that's the only thing I give a shit about. I don't give a shit about Amazon being taxed. I don't give a shit about, like, jobs going overseas, because all that shit happens anyway, right? And every death in the U.S. now is Biden's fault like it was Trump's. Yep. You were right about that. And I ain't gonna lie. I took that Trump stimulus check and paid my motherfucking house off. Big ups, Big Daddy Trump. I'll take a bath tonight in your honor. And my paid off motherfucking house. I'm getting winded to go get a water. Dude, I spent most of my morning yesterday door dashing, carrying groceries up flights of stairs. I'm fine. Unlike other lolcows, I save money. I don't spend it. My heart's ready to give out any day of this week. You know, having chili being sold out at Wendy's is enough to push me over the edge. I go to the dentist Wednesday to get a cavity filled, so. Why don't you get a hobby that gets you out of the house? All you seem to do is wake up and go to sleep. I do DoorDash. Why don't you go on holiday? Go to Universal Studios, get away from all this for a week or so. Spend some money instead of saving for a change. Enjoy life. I mean, you want the truthful answer? The truthful answer is I don't know where we're at with Kelly. Granted, me and Kelly do have health insurance. And our deductible is only $1,500 every 6 months. But, like, I don't know. I want Kelly to be healthy. And I want her to live a very long life. And I want to fully support her through all of her trials and tribulations. And I'd rather have money on standby in case I have to spend it until she's completely out of the woods. Because what happens is insurance have what you call caps, right? And if we get anywhere close to our cap and it goes over it, I'm going to be broke instantly. But, you know, I want to be able to say I did everything I could in my power for her. And I'd much rather be able to say I did that than go to Universal Studios for a weekend. But Kelly had thyroid cancer, and they took her thyroid out. But her latest ultrasound on her neck spotted a cyst-like thing. It's like a lead. They don't call it a cyst. I'm calling it a cyst. It's called, what do they call it? Basically, it's like a little bump that has blood circulation in it. So we're getting a CT scan this Friday to get a better look at that bump. And the reason we're concerned about the bump is because Kelly's blood work has been off. No. Our insurance has a maximum payout, Michael. So like, but the maximum payout for our insurance is $10 million. Right? That's the maximum they'll pay out. Anything past that's 100% on me. I mean, we've been trying for like a year and a half now and nothing. I have low T, and she has basically no thyroid, which messes all her body chemistry up. So like, and we're both getting up there toward the end of like, well, not me personally, because guys don't really have that stipulation, but Kelly's getting up to the age where, like, you know, females are considered what they call a geriatric pregnancy, and it's harder for them to get pregnant. Hey, I don't know what AED is. Fried chicken quack. Come to Colombia and get a surgery while Kelly and Brandy get black by Pablo Escobar's bodyguards. 7v2. Okay. Thank you for this. Thank you for the AED. I don't know what it is. I don't know what currency that is. Thank that man for the 16 ELO shout out. Thank you for the 17 AED. Have you tried the Ghost Pepper Ranch at Wendy's? Is it back? I haven't been to Wendy's in a minute. Like, the only time I go to Wendy's anymore is actually for the breakfast, because I love potato wedges. Help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Way, bully in the alley. Help me, Bob, I'm bully in the alley. Bully down the shimbo now. I don't know. Why did you get mad at Kelly yesterday? I didn't get mad as so much I got frustrated. I needed her to be on my side because I knew people would be picking on me, and she wouldn't be on my side. And it wasn't because what I was asking her was wrong. Is because she didn't want to talk about the subject because it's embarrassing to her. It's like if you spill a glass of milk, right? And for the most part, most people won't give a shit that you spilled a glass of milk. But I have a fan base that will call you an idiot 15 times over for spilling a glass of milk. So Kenneth, like, how do you know that you're doing a good job when the trolls hate you more than 672 and Joe Man in less than a week? I mean, like, do you have a question about DSP? Like, I commented on, like, how he's getting bent over on his fucking mortgage. Whoever... I'm going to put it this way, right? And again, put the disclaimer. I'm talking about DSP because people ask me about DSP. I like DSP. I think he makes great content. I'll put this out there. His mortgage is terrible. Like, it's honestly fucking terrible. I feel bad for the man on his fucking mortgage. He pays essentially $1,900 a month, which only $444 goes to principal. He pays something along the lines of like $1,200 or $1,100 in interest every month. And he has like $550 worth of like homeowner's insurance for a place that doesn't have central air and it doesn't have a fucking yard. Like, you're paying $2,000 a month for no yard and no central air in a gated community. To me, I wouldn't even consider that. And then the interest rate on that is in fucking insane. How do you have a house where you're paying 3 times, almost 4 times, well, it's 3 times the amount of interest as you're doing towards the principal? What does your shit look like? Like, everybody wants to point out the WWE champions and the alcohol purchases. To me, the worst thing he's done is make those fucking, is to sign that mortgage on that condo. That condo is a death mortgage. Like, he's going to be paying for that shit when he's 80-year-old Phil. He'll never pay that house off. Guarantee you. That house will never be paid off. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can point out. Like, like the fact that he spent his stimulus checks on microtransactions. That he has an alcohol payment a month more than my actual car payment is. Right? Because, like, people make fun of, like, me for getting trucks, right? Because I don't think a lot of people understand that, you know, car payments kind of roll into each other. Like, if you get multiple cars, you don't pay the entire price of them. Granted, you're constantly paying, and it's stupid financial advice, but it's, you know, it's something I like. Like, for example, like my black Mustang, which I had a note on, I actually sold the equity into my current truck, right? So I still owed like $11,000 on the black Mustang, but they gave me $14,000 for it. So they paid that $11,000 off, and I got, you know, $3,000 towards my new truck, right? That's how that shit works. Regardless, all that being said, my current truck payment is less than Phil spends on alcohol a month. Let's be fair here with, like, the alcohol purchases. I mean, Cat could drink too. I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with buying alcohol. He's an adult. He's allowed to do with his money what he wants to do with it, right? The thing I find wrong with it in general, and I don't like going through this man's life, and I'm saying this strictly because people ask me about it, and like, it's like a car wreck, right? Like, you can't help but look. I don't want to go actively out here trying to hurt Phil or, like, leech off his content or anything like that. I got no ill will against the man. I hope the man succeeds in life. I'm saying there's none of this is coming from malice. But, like, there was a fundraiser he did where he needed $3,000 to pay his bills, and in that month he spent $4,927 on microtransactions. So he essentially spent his stimulus check and most of that fundraiser on microtransactions. And it's like, why? Why would you do this to yourself? Wings, you ever chat to Eddie the Chump? I haven't talked to Eddie the Chump in a couple years, and like I said, I miss Eddie. I wish I had Eddie the Chump still in my life, because, like, he's one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. And, like, he believed in me what I didn't believe in myself, and, like, I'll never not thank him for that. Eddie is one of the closest things I've had to a true friend in my life. I don't know why it makes me tear every time thinking about it. It's not like I've lost Eddie the Chump. Like, if I wanted to talk to him, I could probably make it happen. Ugh. I don't know what it is. It's always stuck with me. And nobody's seen this. But before Eddie even had Overwatch money, Eddie bought a brand new Xbox One and Fallout 4 for his roommate who had been going through, like, a tough time. And this was right before we did like an episode of, like, the podcast show. And, like, the guy, he left it on the guy's bed, and the guy came in like tears. And he, like, hugged him. It was, like, one of the most pure things I've ever seen. I don't know why I'm emotional right now. I just remember it. And like, I don't know, me and my wife do stuff. It's not much, but like, we always go be Santa Claus to the elderly people every year. And I usually try to do, there's a little program we have here in Conway that you can take an elderly person to the movies. And I try to do that at least once a year too. And I couldn't do it last year because of COVID, obviously. And I don't know if I'll do it this year because of COVID. Because they're a lot more strict about where they let, like, the people. Because they don't want you to go get the elderly people sick. But that's stuff I tried to do. You know, to give back and shit like that. You don't know that, dude. You're not promised tomorrow. Every time you walk out the house could be the last time you do it. I'm emotional. That's why I try not to go to bed upset at anybody. That's why I try not to hold grudges. Life is fragile. We exist on a speck of dust that floats around on a fucking star in the side of a galaxy. Fuck you. I'm going to go work at fucking Hardee's. You say fuck you, I'm going to go work at Arby's.